go back to the 12 Notes podcast. We got another guest, Preet One.
It's popping. It's popping.
First producer on the show, so I'm excited.
Cool shit. Hell yeah, man. Excited to be here.
Yeah. So I guess we could start from the beginning of like when you started and how you started.
Yeah, shit. Like how I got exposed to music. I mean, as a young age, like, you know, when I was a little kid, I had like uncles and cousins that were in bands, so I got exposed to music like that, the creation of music from that.
Yeah.
You know, so I guess that planted that little seed, and then
What kind of band? Like rock?
nah, they were like in Spanish music and shit. Yeah, like more norteño music, like you know, like corridos and shit like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they were in a band like that. My uncle was, and then my cousin became. You know, they started a band later on today. To date, he's not in a band no more, but I have other cousins that are. And then from that, like, I guess when I was a little bit older, I discovered graffiti, and that kind of got me into the whole hip hop. I had another cousin that used to break dance, and I kind of was like, I was just a real little kid, man, like 5 or 6,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? So I would watch him do his thing, and, you know, he had pieces on his wall, like from drawing. He would draw them on paper and then just frame them on his wall. And so I was like, you know, a little kid walking to his room. I thought he was my hero, you know, like, damn, what is this?
Yeah.
And he had the graffiti and shit. So that got me into the graffiti, you know, as a young age, not really into tagging or nothing like that, but just like my interest, you know, sparked an interest into it.
So is hip hop kind of like the soundtrack for like graffiti artists?
I think so, man. At least like that. It's like you evolve from it into different things that you do. You know what I mean? Like, so, like for me, like Beastie Boys was the first ever group that I purchased. Like I purchased the cassette at the swap meet. You know, like License to Ill. Yeah,
classic.
Yeah. That was the first shit that I ever. That's what really got me into like hip hop music, as far as, you know, the music goes.
Yeah.
Slowly, while I was in junior high, something sparked my interest into graffiti when I was little, and then I came across a homie that was he was already more like into it. Like his older brother was. He was I guess a piecer at the time, and then he looked up to his brother, so he started like showing him how to piece. And this was like when we were like 12, 13. This fool was already like piecing.
Yeah.
He used to be Snark. I don't know if you heard of him, but he, rest in peace, he passed away already. But this is a guy that I went to school with at Fulton Junior High. So that started the graffiti shit. I started writing, and through my little journey as far as like hip hop, I started listening to hip hop like religiously. So I'd be in the bus, you know, riding on the bus after school. I had headphones on all the time. Like the headphones were like a thing. Like I just had them on all the time, listening to music, memorized fucking music albums.
Yeah.
So without me even being conscious about like how I was evolving into creating the music, I just, you know, that's how it all just started, I guess. You know, listening to it, memorizing music that I like, NWA, all the classics, you know what I mean? You just I memorized the lyrics and shit. And so as we evolved through that little fucking phase or whatever of my childhood, then we started like racking. It's like, I guess, shoplifting. It's So me and the homies would rack shit, and one of the homies came across a multi-track recorder at a fucking pawn shop. We didn't know what the fuck it was, you know. We had it, and we're like, it just looked expensive. It said Porta Studio on it, you know.
It's like one of those things.
Yeah, it's like a little tiny cassette 4-track.
Little faders on it.
Yeah, it's got all these little fucking buttons and shit.
Yeah.
And we were like, what the fuck is this? I don't know, it looks expensive. So my homie just held on to it. He held on to it for years, because we would like rack shit and sell it, rack shit and make money like that. That was like a little scheme or whatever. But this thing, he just happened to hold on to it. And I think we were like, probably like in junior high at the time, or close to between junior high and high school. And then when after high school, we ended up living together, like a few homies. And he had rented a back room, so he had that multi-track recorder, and we discovered what it was, and we plugged it in. Another homie had a bunch of records, so we ended up having like a little setup from the shit that we had came up on like years back. And that's really how it all started. We would like kick it in the back house, freestyling on the weekends, drinking and shit, and freestyling and recording on that machine. We would just record like bullshit freestyles, you know what I mean? Like drunk freestyles. And that's really how the music, the creation of the music started for me. Like, after a while, like we kind of, went our separate ways. Like, homies got married and this and that, and I ended up buying like my own equipment because I had sparked that interest in music.
So when you were just rapping at the time?
Yeah, I guess you could say that we were rapping. I was mainly just making music. We had like a little mixer that had like a 3-second sampler, so we would fucking loop things, and we just like create loops and then rap over the loop.
Yeah.
So we had like a cheap live, like a microphone. It wasn't a condenser mic or nothing. We would just record freestyles. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, I kind of started doing that, but that wasn't really my main thing. We had like 5 homies in there, and some of the other fools that were more into rapping. Yeah. I did it when I was drunk, you fucking freestyle and shit. Yeah, but that wasn't really the main thing that I was interested in,
So you knew like you wanted to actually make the beats and
exactly. That was what I wanted to do. Besides that, when I was like 8 or 9, me and my cousin used to record. His parents had like one of those double-decker cassettes, so we would play music on one, and then we would make like little commercials and shit. Yeah. We record little commercials and fucking around as kids, Yeah. And then I guess that might have planted the seed for recording and shit. Yeah. So then when we had all this equipment, that's how it started. And then after we went our separate ways, I moved back in with my folks, and then I had a little setup in the back of my mom's fucking laundry room. She had her laundry room there, and I got my own multi-track recorder, like all used shit, and I set it up, and that's really how it all started with me creating music. This was like, I don't know, maybe like in 98 or something like that, 99. I started fucking around with music like that and recording making beats, and then my homeboy, I don't know if you know Chico Threat, that's the first person that I actually recorded a song with. Okay. Yeah, and this was like in Panorama City. We lived in Panorama City, and that's where my little spot was. And yeah, that's how it started, man. Like from there, like I just evolved as a producer, just making beats just for the fuck of it, and people liked it, and they hit me up for beats, and then I would just record. You know what I mean? You know how it goes. Yeah. And then you just evolve as time goes. Yeah.
We'll see, because like for me, it's kind of similar, right? Like just growing up listening to music, and then. But I always, like, the rapper was the thing to be, right? Yeah. So I always wanted to be a rapper. And then somewhere down the line, like, I started DJing. Yeah. And then, I don't know how or what, but it just hit me, like, producing, like, actually making
just beats, make it, right?
And, like, making your own shit. And that became more... Just like you became more interested in that than the rapping part. Yeah, because it's kind of like that's just the backbone of the whole thing.
Yeah, for sure. And it's entertainment, man. And entertaining. You could be there for hours, man. Right. And if you like it, you could. It's not something that you have like. I used to rap too. I used to record songs and write verses and shit, but that would be work for me. Yeah. Like sitting down and really wanting to be clever, and then I was like my own worst critic, so I didn't freaking like some of the shit that I did, or my voice, or different shit like that, Yeah. So that kind of made me lean towards the music, because it just came natural. Like I just enjoy. I could fucking be there for hours and hours. Well, writing lyrics was just like real work and homework. I had to sit down and think and. It wasn't natural, you know what I mean? Yeah. But at least for me, I know some fools, they could fucking probably write songs naturally and just that's their thing, you know what I mean? Yeah. But for me personally, it wasn't, But yeah, that's cool, man. We all have our little different,
Yeah. 'Cause, I mean, like as a kid, I also I always used to like open shit up and figure out like how this shit works.
Yeah.
I think that's kind of the same.
You're curious, huh?
As like the music, like like what's going on in the inside, like, and it's the beats and the engineering,
for sure,
and all that makes it. You know, I think it's more fun.
Yeah, when you go deep into the music, you're like, okay, there's fucking vocals and, you know, different tracks, just the concept of multi-tracks, like all that shit. It's like,
and then once you start paying attention to that part,
you become interested,
it
right?
It just gets more exciting.
Yeah, for sure.
So you say you were like the 3-second sampling was, and then you kind of just like, how did you know that like the sampling and like the boom bap shit was like what you wanted to do instead of?
I really did. I don't think I knew. Like, it was just like that's just what I guess what inspired me the most, and what I learned, and what I enjoyed. So like, as I, you know, grew as a producer, I just never verged off. Like, you know, sometimes, you know, there's new shit that comes out, and then, you know, you could get inspired for that too and shit, but I just was just not inspired by it at the time, and I just stuck to what I enjoyed the most. Like now I like all that shit. I like all kinds of different music, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But like, I think that's just what I like, just hard. It's probably, you know, I don't know. I think that I just didn't want to verge off of what I was doing, you know, and I didn't want to like change the style that I was doing or whatever music I was creating to please anybody else. Like, I just wanted to do what I enjoyed. You know what I mean? And that's really what it comes down to it, you know?
What it's all about, though.
Yeah, for sure.
So like, growing up listening to music, did you know like they were sampling other music?
I didn't.
Right.
No, I didn't. It was something that I discovered later when I was just like, oh shit. First, I got exposed to records from my dad. We had a big consola. That's what they called it when I was a kid. It was like a big box, a console, I guess, and it had a record player in the middle with like stacks of records in the middle, and that's what I remember. He had the music, and that's what I started pulling out. The first time that I ever started sampling, I don't know why, I just knew that it was from a record, and like that's just how it all began. I guess the mixer that I used to use was a Scratch Master, and it was just like the 3-second sampler. That's the only thing that really I knew about as far as like sampling. I never knew that about MPCs or none of that. You know, I was exposed to that sampler. It has a little 3-second sampler. If I can loop it, play it, and that was it. That's the first thing that I knew. And then slowly, you know, as you discover new equipment like the MPC, I didn't have money for that at the time, but you know, you work your way around it. I had like a little Dr. Groove machine, like, you know, just as you are able to make more money, you're able to purchase bigger shit, and then you get exposed to chopping. Like, I wasn't exposed to that before because I never used it.
Yeah, you're just taking little pieces and then just looping
and just looping it. Yeah, and you know, now then when I started using the MPC, I was like, holy shit, like I could chop up like this whole song, and I could just find anything that I like, and slowly, you know, I just discovered. And then you go deep into it, you know. It's just like, you know, it's like you said, you know, you take something apart, you fucking discover how it all works, and then the next thing you know, you're fucking this deep into that shit, and now you're doing way out shit that you didn't even expect, you know what I mean? And so I think that's, I went really deep into how the beats are made, and discovered, I could chop 3 seconds here, 7 seconds here, and then put them together and make my own loop, you know? That's basically how it started, I guess, but.
Yeah, no, I didn't like sampling, like when I started, and like, I didn't get it. I don't know, it was weird. But then over time, I grew to like really appreciate it, and like, just like these things that they're doing is actually really incredible. But also like the shit that they sample that you don't know it's sampled. Like Dre. The way Dre samples. like freaking My Name Is, like
Yeah,
you
yeah.
don't know that's a sample, or like Explosive, like shit like that, like
Until you hear it, you're like, holy shit, that was a sample?
That's
Like,
a sample.
yeah.
And like compared to the other way where it's like chops, and you can hear like the
For
different
sure.
chops and shit like that. So,
Yeah, there's different styles for sure.
Right.
Yeah. Dre's he has a way of creating samples.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
he has a sample, but then he like has like he'll have a guy that plays piano play that sample and then make it into his own fucking shit.
Yeah.
You know, this is definitely an art form in that. You know?
Yeah.
For sure.
It's a trip.
Yeah.
The sample and shit. Do you sample drums too? Like, do you?
Yeah. I kind of try.
Beats and all that?
Yeah, I try to create my own drum breaks, or I sample drum breaks and I try to create my own drum kits out of it. And then a lot of it is like layering. Like I do like I don't when I make a drum beat, or like if I create a boom bap pattern, it's not just one. Like I have like 3 or 4 drums in there. You know what I mean? Yeah, and so I do I create my own drums like that by layering a bunch of different ones.
Yeah. I don't really layer.
Yeah,
I used to, but I don't know. It takes too much time.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, it depends how deep you get into it, right? Like I was saying, like
Yeah.
for sure.
So you work on the MPC?
Yeah, I have a lot of different I've gone through phases, you know what I mean? Right now, that's heavily what I use, just because I purchased. That's the latest shit that I've gotten. But I played with Fruity Loop before. I had a Tascam multi-track recorder, and I would use like a Dr. Groove. I had like a Yamaha. I had an Oregon before too. I just had gone through phases of shit. And as I have more money, I'm able to buy new equipment. Like even now, like I'm still wanting to buy new gear. You know what I mean? Like I want to buy a synthesizer, or like, it's just kind of just costs money. But you know, I'm open for whatever. Like for sure.
So what MPC do you use right now?
I have a MPC Live and a MPC X. Yeah, I started with the Live, and then I ended up buying the X for the studio. The Live I use it I have upstairs, because my son's room is next to the lab where I have a house. So in the house is the fucking, the studio. I have a house studio or whatever. So just to be able to stay quiet. So my son has a weird schedule. So I have another MPC upstairs, and I was lucky enough to be able to afford it. You know what I mean? I did it in payments, but that's the thing. You know what I mean? I just constantly want to buy new gear. It's always like a kind of an addiction, I guess. Hoarding fucking equipment.
Yeah, I never used the MPC, but like lately I kind of been
dabbling. Yeah.
I think I want to buy one, and just to.
Cool shit.
See what I can do with it.
Yeah, and the software's free right now. I think the Mpc Software.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you can buy a little controller, like a little cheap controller, and use the software. Is the same thing,
Yeah, I was gonna do that at first. Get the MIDI. The drum pad controller. Just to play with it.
Yeah, man. You need, like, if you have questions, I'm happy to help you. I know that really, really good. The Mpc Software, I just dived in pretty deep with that one. So. Yeah, for sure. It's a fun software,
Yeah, I've been doing a lot of sampling lately, and I've just been having fun with it.
Yeah, dude, it's fun, man. Yeah. Heck yeah. You get addicted, you know what I mean? Then you discover new samples. You're like, holy shit! And then you start flipping through other music and foreign records, and
that's like finding the sample is
that's what takes long, right?
Yeah, but it's the fun part. Like, so once you find it, it's
you get just this gratification. You get like, damn, and then you create it, and when you have a beat, you're like, holy shit.
Yeah.
And then you get people's reaction, and I think that's what fueled a lot of my motivation. I think it was probably people's reaction. Like I was just being creative, and then people were like, oh shit, that's kind of dope, and then you're like, oh yeah, keep fucking with that shit.
Yeah.
For sure.
So do you like do you just be like living your life and like hear some kind of random music and like want to sample it?
I'm always listening to music. You know what I mean? I'm always listening to music, whether I'm in my car driving, or if I'm at home working at home. So yeah, I'm always digging. I have a record player upstairs. I have my record player in the lab. I go buy records all the time, and the cool thing about some of these record shops is that you can bring old records and then trade off for credit. So I'll go through like a stack of records, dig through them, and then go back and get new ones. They don't give you as much money as they're worth, but use it for to get more records.
Yeah, I saw a picture of like your whole collection. You have a pretty big collection.
Yeah, it's been a lot of years, man. I started collecting it. Yeah.
Is that like all shit that you just sampled, or like shit that you actually listened to?
Both. Yeah, I started with just listening to records, and then slowly the collection just has grown. I started with my dad's records, actually, just listening to those and sampling those.
Yeah.
And then slowly started collecting them, and it's like you get kind of addicted to it, man. You find good records, and then you also kind of discover good artists from the sampling. So then you start buying records to listen to. So it's like a little bit of both,
Yeah, I started getting into the records.
Yeah, for sure.
I used to, growing up, just buying CDs all the time. I used to have a crazy collection, and recently I was just like, maybe try out vinyl, because vinyl's made a big comeback, and everybody's kind of printing their shit on vinyl now.
For sure.
And one thing I noticed, it's like on the phone, you can just skip, fast forward, or whatever. But when you put on the record, it takes more. So you kind of just let it play,
Yeah.
So it's better.
You find more hidden things, you know what I mean?
You just let it play and listen to it. Like, it's not that easy to.
Yeah, exactly.
Change to the next song.
Yeah, and then it's got a certain sound that when you sample it, it's fucking, you know what I mean? Even like the music that, like, if you think about like production back, music production back in the 80s or 70s, they were using analog equipment to record it. It just has a different sound, you know what I mean? Like a gritty, more grimy sound to it than like digital, you know what I mean? It's interesting for sure, like the different era of music, how it was processed,
Yeah, I like it better too, back in the day.
Yeah, for sure.
It's just warmer, and like
it was processed differently, right? Yeah.
Because like when I hear like Dre, when I hear like Chronic 2001 or whatever, to me, like that's the level I'm trying to get at all the time. Like how he makes all those records. But like when he drops new shit, like the Compton album that he did, it's all digital and it just sounds different.
It's got a different sound, right?
It's like it's not the same like anymore. Like like man.
Didn't he get back? Well, now I don't know if I'm pretty sure he produces some of it, but I think now he has like teams of producers. You know what I mean? So maybe.
But I'm sure he's still mixing.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
So it's weird. But they also say like he records everything onto the tapes.
Oh, okay.
And then, but it's still not
interesting. Yeah.
It still doesn't do the trick to me.
It's nothing like analog equipment, right?
Yeah,
like, for sure.
And every time I mix a song, I try to capture that, like keep it more warmer and like I don't know, cut the highs out a little bit.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's too crispy.
Yeah, exactly. Let it be dirty it up a little bit, like more grimy and shit. For sure.
That's just how I like it. You ever watch Rhythm Roulette?
Yeah, I have actually. Yeah. I like to. Sometimes I do that to myself. You know what I mean? I'll just do that for myself. I'll just try to challenge myself and see if I can flip some different shit that I don't usually. Yeah, sometimes. Yes, it depends. Sometimes I try to get uncomfortable and see what I can do. But there's times when I don't like it, but other people do. I'm really digging this beat, and then that's the weird thing about making beats is sometimes like there'll be some beats that I have my favorites, and then if I'll work with an artist and then they're like, oh, he's gonna want to pick up some beats, like I'll play a bunch of them and they'll pick the ones that I like the least. Right. Everyone has a different ear, you know what I mean?
Like you play all your shit that you think are the bangers, like this is the one, and they just like skip, and then you end up with all the ones you don't like, and they end up liking one of those.
Yeah, exactly. It's a trip how that shit works, For For sure.
Man, I was gonna erase this beat. I don't even like it. Well, whatever.
Yeah, exactly.
You had to roll with it. That's the thing with working with artists. It's a crazy relationship.
It's different, man. Yeah, it's you got to manage people's personalities and whatever they like and shit like that. I have a hard time doing that. I like it to just flow naturally. You know what I mean? Like when you work with artists that are like just you guys just fucking mesh right. You don't have to ask like you feel this beat or you know what I mean. It just happens, and that shit's always like the best product comes out.
Yeah.
When it's not like planned out, you just kind of like go in and you just create some shit.
Yeah.
You're like, oh shit.
From scratch.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah, I've been like, I know when I first started, I used to hate when they didn't like the beat.
Yeah.
Like next time, like man, like I'm not gonna keep.
Yeah.
But over time, I kind of grew to understand like, this is what it is, If the artist is not feeling it, they're not feeling it,
Yeah, for sure. It depends, though. Like, for me, like if someone asks me to take time to like sit down and make a beat for them, it's just like discouraging when you're like, yeah, I'm gonna fucking spend like 2 hours making a beat for this person that they asked me to do this and that for them. They want a certain sound, and so you kind of like take time to do it, but then if you just have them pick some shit that you already have, it's all good. It doesn't matter, you know what I mean? But sometimes, like I knew in the, like I guess in the beginning when I would start, working with other artists, sometimes they would, I would get requests like, send me some beat. All right, cool, here you go. And then nothing would come out of it. Yeah. So that I didn't like that. It's like waste of time, man. You know what I mean? Like. But, also there's just different artists, sometimes people are picky, like they're a little bit more picky, they know what they want. And so I kind of grown to like accept like, okay, and they're not, this is not what you like, then maybe you should be working with a different producer, you know what I mean? And it's all good. There's no, everyone has their little taste in what they do and everyone wants to do what they want to do. And it's all good, you know what I mean? But it does like, I don't like to waste my time, you know what I mean? That's the only thing. Sure.
I prefer to be like in the studio with the artist.
Yeah, exactly.
Over than just sending beats, because it's just a different feel, it's a vibe. For
sure, it's just you're working together.
I have situations where like I'm in the studio with the artist, and I work on a beat from scratch, and the beat is not really all that. Like it's pretty simple and not really much to it. But for some reason, they just start getting into it and they start writing, and it just becomes like a good song at the end of the day. But like if I would have just made that beat on my own and sent it to them, they probably wouldn't even. They'd be like, I don't like this beat. Yeah, exactly, because they feel like they were a part of the creative process, right? For sure. Yeah, another thing too that happens is that, like I've noticed, like with me. Like I used to, like, most of the time I'm making music by myself, but not too long ago, like I had like a little session with some homies, an old friend. I went to their house, I brought my Mpc and I created music with them, and with them giving me not guidance, I mean, suggest like them digging, we're listening to songs, and then like I guess we all combined our ideas, and that was kind of dope. You know what I mean? Because sometimes you might start working on a beat, and then you don't like it, you just fucking scrap it. You know what I mean? But like when you have other ears, that kind of helps, because they're like, okay, well, they give you their own piece, their own, suggestions or whatever they hear. You might not hear what they're hearing, and then you kind of get convinced. I don't know. I like that new dynamic. I hadn't done that before, where it's like some people are actually here, we're creating a beat, and they're like helping me do it. Right. You know what I mean? Right. That's a different vibe in itself too. And then like you said, they feel they're part of the creative process, and then that shit, it creates something special with the song, you know what I mean? For sure. Yeah, for sure. Do you like collab with other producers?
I haven't. I actually had talked about that with a producer from Norway, a homie from Norway that I have, that he wanted to do that. He wanted to do like send me samples, and then he wanted me to add the drums to it, or like I think there's a project that we started where I sent him some samples and he sent me some samples that we're gonna like flip each other's samples, and then make like an album. You know what I mean? But it never panned out, and we started it, but it's probably been a few years now. It never panned out.
Yeah.
But you know, that's the only time that I could think of that we're gonna do a collab album with a producer. But it sounds cool. I wouldn't mind it for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I noticed you like releasing like just like beat tapes, instrumental.
Lately, yeah.
So how does that work? Like, is it the same like as just regular songs?
It's not the same. I think arranging the beats is a little bit different. You know, I gotta create more switch ups. I gotta create like intensify the sound a little bit, like break the drum. I don't know. There's just a lot of different switch ups that I make so that like.
Well, what I noticed like in the beginning, like you'll have the certain trap that's playing.
Yeah.
Maybe like 4 or 8 bars.
Yeah.
And then it switches up.
Yeah.
It creates a different tone to it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It causes like some kind of like intensity, and then it hits again. And so I do a lot of those switch ups so that so it doesn't get boring. You know what I mean? Right. So definitely when you're creating instrumental projects, I think there's a different thing you have to do so that people don't get bored of the beat if it's just like playing. Yeah. There's a lot of that, and not too long too, because I did learn from my mistakes. Like I used to put out beat tapes before that were too fucking long, and then I listened to it later on. I'm like, damn, this shit's so boring, and then I'd want to change it. So it's like I learned from my own mistakes, like, and I try to improve every time. Like, and I try to, you know, kind of like I said, I'm my own worst critic. So I'll listen to the shit that I don't like, and I try to improve upon it. And that's one of the main things that I've discovered, that like to create a instrumental project, you got to make it interesting and like for sure.
So what if an artist hits you up like, yo, I like this beat, like, can I get it? How does that work?
It depends, you know. It depends like who the artist is, because I used to do that, man. I used to be like, yeah, man, here you go. But like I said, like I think you sometimes when you do that, like. People kind of tend to lose the value of your time. You know what I mean? Like they take it for granted, you know? And so now I learned to just, you know what, like, what do you want it for? What are your intentions? What are you trying to do? Like, and when are you going to do it? Like, I try to ask more questions, and then so it'll be like a for sure thing, because a lot of people, you know, I'm sure you know, like you get hit up for beats all the time, you know, and some people just get inspired one weekend and then they don't continue it.
What I like to say is like, don't tell me you want the beat until you actually have a song and you plan on releasing it.
Yeah,
and then we can talk. And until then, like, bro, I'm gonna sell this beat. It's on the market until you know. You got something that you actually want to put out and.
For sure.
Try to sell, because other than that, like, you're just wasting my time. Like,
you know, some people just take it for granted, like, you know? Your time and stuff, you know.
Like, just because the beat is dope and you like it a lot, you want it, so I'm just reserving it for you, and you end up not doing anything with it. It's kind of like, bro, like, no. Yeah,
that happens a lot with people, you know, for sure. Yeah. Definitely. I think it depends on who it is too, you know, because if it's your homie and you know that this motherfucker's gonna do something, then it's all good. Right. You know, but like when a lot of people, I mean, I'm sure you get fucking hit up for people hitting you up for beats and shit, and they're not serious, you know.
Yeah, it's you know, it's kind of like, because it's hard to be like humble and like just like respect, like
for sure.
You know, I'm not. Like, I don't want to send you beats because I know you're not really that serious and you're not gonna do anything with it. Yeah,
exactly. And there's a balance, right? On how to let them know softly and show out and disrespect.
Or like even if like I don't even like the artist particularly.
Yeah.
I don't like your shit, so I don't want you on my shit.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. It's a struggle, man, because you don't want to kind of exactly. I had that situation before a couple times when it was like. I don't really, and it was with a homie that wanted to feature somebody else on the song. And I was like, I don't really like the dude to be in the song, you know what I mean? But he's like, why? Like, I just don't like it. Like, and it was just kind of a weird thing, you know what I mean? Where you just kind of like, like if someone buys the beat from you, it's a different story. Like, here you go, like you pay me, here's the beat, do whatever you want with it. Like, yeah, but if we're creating something, we gotta both like it, you know,
right?
For sure.
Yeah, that's only like that whole shit is if it's free. Like if I'm looking out, exactly to you, then yeah, all that comes with it. But if you just want to buy something off my beat store, like go ahead, like buy it, it's yours. Then you know.
Yeah, you do whatever you want. You own it now.
Yeah,
for sure.
Give me my credit and we're good.
For sure.
I don't care what you do.
Yeah, exactly.
You paid me already. So
yeah, exactly.
It's done. But if it's free, then I feel like I have some kind of say so. And
you do. It's your fucking creative. Yeah, it's your creation, man, for sure. Yeah, always, you know.
Yeah,
for sure.
So you produced "Welcome to the Valley."
I did.
With Robs and Big Sipes. One of their biggest songs they got out.
Yeah, one of my favorite songs that I've ever produced, man.
Yeah,
for sure. Not only because they were homies, and because Sipes my good friend, but just the story behind that shit. Well, you know what I mean?
What's the story?
Well, that beat, I was about to be evicted, bro, from the apartments. I was unemployed for I had been unemployed almost 2 years, and I had my little studio on Roscoe in Panorama City, and I was hurting, man. I was hurting for money, and the homie Sipe liked that beat at the time, and it was one of those situations where I was like, hey, bro, I need money, you know, like, and he was like, all right, because I was going to give him the beat, but I had other people that wanted it. So I was like, hey, these fools are going to buy it, you know what I mean? Like I need the money, and it didn't feel right, because Sipe is my good friend, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So my thing was that I wasn't gonna give it to him because somebody else was gonna buy it, and he's like, "Well, I'll buy it," and I was like, "I don't feel right doing that," you know what I mean? Because he's my boy, like.
Yeah.
And he's like, "Why don't you want to sell it to me?" And I said, "You know, I don't know. I don't know, you know." And he was like, "You know, I'll buy it off of you, and we do a song here. You record the song here, and it's all good." And I was like, "All right, cool." And we ended up. He actually gave me the money to pay my rent for that beat. Like I was short, and he fucking, that beat paid that rent for that month that Cyper bought off of me. Yeah. So it was a special song for me. Like nobody knows that story. You know, just being Cype dude. You know what I mean? Or did, you know, rest in peace to Cyper and shit.
Sure.
But that was a special song, and it turned out to be a dope ass song. We did it spontaneously. This was came to my pad. And then we added Anita Blunt into it. That put it on the top, over the top. That was like the cherry on top, man. Her voice was pretty dope on there, like with the ending, the hook, and then Rob's, and you know, it was good. It was a good song.
Did you? Are you the one that put the Biggie sample on there, or was that?
No, actually, I want to say that it was a Rob's or Cyper. One of them asked to put that in there. Yeah. I think it was Cype. Yeah, it was Sipe. And then the other homie, OZ, he came up with that intro. Actually, we had that intro for a different song. And then we liked the song, the Valley song, where like we could put that intro in there. And then that intro was actually the homie OZ's idea. So we ended up inviting him to get on the song because he had that intro.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it came out cool. You know what I mean? I really like that song. It's one of my favorites, and I want to remix it. I actually did a remix for it too.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, and I sent it to Sipe.
You had the vocals?
Huh?
You had the vocals and everything?
Yeah, I recorded it at my pad.
Oh, okay.
I might still have the vocals. Yeah, I might still have, because I have all of Sipe's a lot of Sipe's music, because before he passed, we created his last album at my house. Okay. He had an old multi-track recorder. It was digital though, but we took a bunch of his music and we put it into my computer to put out his album. So I have a lot of his vocals from that. But yeah, it was a good song, man. It's one of my favorites for sure.
I mean, you should just do like a
tribute,
kind of like how they did Pac, you know?
Yeah,
they
for
have
sure.
All these verses, all these vocals, just beats around them.
Yeah, for sure. I think in the beginning that was my plan, but there was like some things with, like, I don't know, like I don't know if his woman, like, it was like for the rights and shit like that. And I was like, I don't want to be, I don't want to like be a part of that. You know what I mean? So I stepped away and I just let her have all the shit. I still have it because I had my computer where we put it in there. I didn't delete it, but you know, I gave her like the machine and everything, you know. So and I didn't want to get involved with that legal shit. You know what I mean? So I was like, fuck it.
I get it.
Yeah, but I have it all, man. You know, wouldn't mind doing it for sure.
Yeah.
I already mixed those whole albums. You know what I mean?
Right. That'd be dope. Bro,
fuck yeah.
Honestly. You also produced what? It's Too Easy. Is that what it's called?
Yeah. I think I had that beat. I don't know if it was Sype that chose it. I just had it. I just had that beat, and then he like, hey, let me rap on that beat. And I gave it to him. That one I gave it to him. Yeah.
Yeah, I gave him my beats too.
For sure.
Yeah, I'm on DSV 1 and 2.
What's that?
I'm on DSV 1 and 2.
Oh, okay.
With production.
Okay. Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah, those are classic albums right there.
For sure, man. Yeah. I remember those times, and it just brings, like, it takes you back to the times when you were recording it. You know what I mean? Those are interesting times, so it was like it makes the album special too. You know?
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah,
definitely, man.
I always wanted to. He would ask me for beats a lot.
Sype.
Yeah. But I would be like, I don't know, like for some reason, I never got to it.
Yeah.
And I kind of regretted it afterwards. Like, man.
Yeah.
Should have done more, you know?
Yeah, I feel the same way, man. Because Syper, like, when he moved out there, like, we kicked it like almost every day, you know? He moved to Bakersfield, like, 4 years before he passed, or 3 years. And he had asked me, like, hey, should I move over there? Should I move where you're at? I was like, oh, fuck this place. You don't want to move over here, dog. But his cousin lived out there, and he convinced him. You know, he ended up moving over there because of his cousin. And when he moved out there, we kicked it. He's like, hey, I want to put out this album, and I need your help. I'm like, cool, man, come over. So he would come over to my house, and we'd record an album. And then we'd go, we always shared, like, where to eat. So always hit me up. He would hit me up like 11 fucking o'clock at night. Like, hey, I'm over here on fucking this street. Where's there to eat around here? Like, like, you know all the good spots. So we always go grub. We had, like, you know, on the weekends we would kick it. It was hard, man. His death was hard for me.
Yeah.
I went in a deep end after that, dog. That was a crazy time in my life and shit.
Yeah.
You know, and he passed away.
Yeah.
You know.
Yes.
I'm glad I made it past that point, because I came close to also not, like, ending my life, you know what I mean? Honestly. And, like, it was hard, man. I still miss that fool.
Right.
Yeah. He's the only guy that we'd have, like, long conversations with, you know? Like, I would fucking call on the phone, like if it was my fucking lady or something, like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
We gotta have talks about deep shit, like, you know what I mean? And he was one of those people that was just like, there was no judgment. Like, I could talk about whatever the fuck, and he would be like, yeah, you know what I mean? It was cool. Yeah. He had all these fucking, you could just soak up game from that fool, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And he didn't even realize how much game he had. He probably did, but not as much as he did, you know? Like,
I mean, he put a lot into his music.
For sure.
Yeah.
He put a lot into everything. That fool was a passionate dude, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think that's what it was, like. Sure.
Alright. So, like, what are you working on now? Are you working with any artists?
Yeah, right now I'm working with my homeboy Blame. He's from San Diego. We started working on music maybe like 6 years ago, and we put out an album, Sacred Ground Sound. But it was a sporadic album. Like, it's a good album. But the way it feels to me, it was like there were just a bunch of good songs that we put together. You know what I mean? So so it's a good album. It's out. Put it out a few years back. And we started working on that project. And from that project, we started building. And so now I think we have a good 40 songs, new songs. And we just put together an album with 10 of those 40 songs that we're about to put out. We're trying to get it pressed on vinyl, and we're trying to get like a label to pay for the pressing.
Yeah.
So that's where it's at right now. I'm doing that, and then I got a project with the homie Reason. He's from Vagabundos. He's a Spanish MC from LA.
Okay.
That project is complete.
Yeah. So you work?
Yeah, I'm working, and then the instrumental projects, I'm trying to put a new one every month. Cause I, in the past every year I make a lot of fucking music and it just sits there. So I figured, I'm just gonna fucking put them out. You know what I mean? Like, so all the beats that don't get used, I'm creating my favorite ones and then just put it out every month. Fuck it.
Yeah. See, I see you post every day like a new beat, like.
Yeah, I have to do it. I have to get in the lab at least once a day for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like therapy and shit, I go crazy if I don't, man. For reals. I want to get back into that fucking depression that I was in, you know what I mean? Yeah. Like, music has helped me a lot. And it got me out. Making that album with that dude, the homie Blame, has that kind of, it created something, you know what I mean? It lit something up in me that I want to just create. Now I don't want to stop. It don't matter if fucking it's successful or not. I'm all about just making music, putting it out. Let it happen. Whatever happens.
With all this that you are making, like, how do you keep finding new samples to chop? Like,
that's a good question, man. Yeah, I mean, shit, just a lot of digging. Like I said, I always listen to music and I buy records often. It's just my ears are always open, man, for music. Like, I'm always listening to music wherever I'm at and discovering new artists. And then, as I discover new records, I discovered new artists from that. And sometimes, you see like an artist that was featured on this album, and he was like maybe the saxophone player over here, but he created his own project too. And there's so many musicians in our history, you know what I mean, that they all create, and so you just find new shit. And then especially like when it comes to sampling, there's really no limit to what the fuck you can sample, you know what I mean? So we can listen to some children's fucking records, you know what I mean? There's music in those, and foreign shit, Asian records, fucking. So it's not that hard to just keep finding shit, but you just gotta have an ear for it and just constantly do it,
Yeah.
Sure.
Are you worried about like copyright shit?
I don't really get worried for that. I just try to be as. Sometimes I do. It depends on the beat, but I just try to chop it so much that people are not gonna know what the fuck it is,
Yeah.
But they will. Sometimes it might happen, but I haven't gotten to that problem yet. So
yeah.
when the song blows up and then they come around and try to sue me, then I'm gonna be like, oh fuck.
Yeah, that's usually only when they do it. Once you start making millions.
Exactly.
The song, like,
exactly.
That's my song.
Exactly.
I want my piece.
Yeah, exactly. And I don't blame them either. You know what I mean? That's what it is.
Yeah.
But for sure.
Stay away from Marvin Gaye.
Oh really?
They're gonna get your ass.
That label, yeah.
You can't even sing like him. Like.
Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah, I know. Sometimes I'll post. I used to post a sample. Like, I sampled this record and I would show the beat and it would get removed from Instagram.
Oh, shit.
So yeah, I don't. I just try to keep it to myself and shit. But it happens, for sure.
Yeah. I know that for Ernie G.
Mm-hmm.
He'd be doing that, like showing the record and like where you got the sample from.
Yeah.
I'd be like, you might want to chill on that, cause.
For sure, huh? Yeah, there's people out there that are fucking just try to fucking report you just because they're haters. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
For sure.
And it's also more fun to like try to figure out like where is this sample
exactly.
from?
It's an unwritten rule, really, that we crate diggers have. Like, you don't fucking say who the fuck you sampled it from. You know what I mean? Sometimes I do it just to show that I was creative. Like, look, I did this. If it's like a fucking sample that no one would have sampled, you're like, I was able to flip this song. Right. That's fucking, you know what I mean? Like, oh shit, But yeah.
How often do you find samples that have been used before?
Often.
Yeah.
Yeah, I come across them all the time.
Yeah. Oh shit, this is that one song.
Yeah, and it's like a thing that you get happy. Like, oh shit, I just found this fucking song that's, You know, like fucking popular as fuck, and or you know, who Dre sampled or somebody. You know, it's a trip for sure.
Do you still try to flip it, or you just leave it alone?
I try not to.
Yeah,
I try not to, and I don't even like when people tell me like, "Oh, I sampled that before." I'm like, "Fuck."
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Fuck this song, then. Fuck this beat.
Yeah.
You know?
Nah, I'm the same.
But
way.
it happens, you know.
Yeah, I'm the same way. Like, I'll be looking for shit. And then I find something that's so dope, but then I'm like, wait a minute.
Yeah, or just try to flip it your own way.
Yeah,
where you can't tell, you know what I mean? But
it's still kind of like that's been discovered.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like
it's not the same, you know.
Yeah,
yeah.
It's this crazy game that we play. Like, just try to find some shit that nobody ever's heard of.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, Timberland, how he be doing like the Indian shit, like.
Yeah, just find like obscure shit that you wouldn't think somebody would sample. That's what I like to do too.
Right.
For sure.
Right. I'll be sampling like music from like movies and TV.
Oh yeah,
like
for
the
sure.
Score.
Yeah.
Like if I'm just watching some shit and it just sounds dope, I'm like, yo, I'm about to sample this.
Yeah, there's a lot of good composers, man. Like you find like a lot of like Italian composers, or me, like lately I've been coming across Italian composers. I'll go to the soundtracks and the record shops and find like just shit from Italy, or composers from just way out shit, like Montenegro. That's a badass composer. I think he did the Godfather theme. Like you find different composers like that, and you just this guy did the Godfather theme. So then you find the name, and then you just buy records that are from him, and you find all kinds of shit. That's dope. Yeah.
That's dope.
Yeah, for sure.
I just forgot what I was about to say.
Record shops are fucking popping back up, you know.
Yeah.
But before it was like you had to fucking kind of, I mean, I still kind of keep it to myself, you know, when you find good spots. But that's another thing too, like finding good record shops. They're popping back up now, and then with the whole hipster thing, man, like record prices are going fucking up, you know.
I know. I was surprised because, like I said, I started getting back into it, and then one day I was like, okay, let me go check out some records.
Yeah.
And they were like $40-$50 for like
that's crazy.
Classic albums. I'm like, bro, like,
nah. I'll show you the spots, man.
I bought a CD for like $5 right now.
Exactly. Yeah. There's spots out there though, you know?
Yeah.
For sure. There's spots out there that you get good deals. There was a spot here, they closed it down. It was right here off of, was that San Fernando, right? The Relic. Remember that, the Relic? It was like it wasn't like a record shop. It was just like they sold like a bunch of like used furniture and like old equipment and tools. It was just like old things, you know what I mean? People that would like donate and shit. Yeah. Kind of like a Goodwill, but it was called the Relic. And it, right there, bro, I discovered that shit like maybe 8 years ago. And you walk in, it just looks like a big ass room with just junk. You know, like used equipment and, you know, antique shit. And then you walk all the way to the back, man, and there's a fucking room as big as this shit right here, full of records. Damn. It's stacked fucking, they weren't even like nicely placed. Like they were just stacked on the floor, everything. And that was a good spot for a while, for a long time, until they closed it recently because of the pandemic or whatever. Yeah, but that place, you lived right there. It's right here, man. That was a good spot for records. And they were $1. You just go in there, fucking $100, you'd get a fucking stack of records like that. You just gotta dig through them, you know, put a fucking dust mask on and shit. For sure.
100 records, $100.
Yeah. That's a lot. Yeah. For sure.
Do you ever go to like yard sales and shit like that?
Yeah. You come across them. The only thing with that is that a lot of people sometimes they have like a connection toward the record, so they kind of sell them for more. So they feel like they're worth more than they really are, you know what I mean? Yeah. And then like I was saying, like the hipster thing, like they're making shit hard because these fools are paying fucking hundreds of dollars for fucking records that like just 8 years ago they were like $5. Right. You know? Right. But the whole collector's thing is like different. Like, you know, people collect it for different reasons, you know what I mean? But it's what it is.
Yeah. Nah, they definitely made a comeback. You go to Best Buy now, they got a little section for records.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
Oh shit.
They don't even have CDs no more, but
they're coming back. And that's why it's a good idea to press our shit, you know what I mean? It's just expensive.
Yeah, I looked into it and that shit is expensive.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
Because I wanted to do like maybe 10 copies, just a little collection. You know, hand them out to family and like to keep them. Like you got the record, and that shit is expensive.
Yeah, exactly. The only way that the prices goes down is if you press in bulk, but then it's a lot of money. You know what I mean? Then you get stuck with
1,000 records. Like,
exactly. That's why if you get a label to do it and you get the distribution, then you're set. But the records want the labels want to sell it too. So they're like, if I'm not gonna sell all these records, I'm not gonna fucking do it. And I was looking into like buying like an actual actually pressing my own records myself.
Oh shit!
But the machine was expensive as fuck, and then it's not easy. Like you have to know how to use it. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So it was like fuck. You gotta hire someone to fucking press it or train to do it. So I looked into it, man, and it's not easy, Yeah. It's not easy to get into that industry, but shit, with money you could, I guess, do it. But who's got that much money, lately? Yeah. At least I don't. Labels and shit. You gotta get good with the label,
Man, but they're kind of dying out.
Yeah.
Labels.
Yeah, for sure.
So you think, like with your lane, like the boom bap shit, and is there like can you make like a good living like doing that?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. I think there's a lane for everybody. You know what I mean?
I think that too.
Yeah, there's just a different, and I think it's coming back, bro. Like I think I see a lot of young kids actually doing like boom bap music, and it's like it gives me hope. You know what I mean? Like But I think. I think with anything that you do, eventually you can succeed if you know what I mean, like go that deep into it. You know what I mean?
For sure.
Yeah, for sure.
I think, like you think about like some of the top artists, people always say like Kendrick, Cole, Drake, they all have their own different styles.
Yeah.
So it's not like they all sound the same, Especially Cole, like he's more like traditional hip hop shit.
Yeah, for sure.
And he's one of the top artists in the world right now.
Yeah, definitely.
And like artists like Griselda, and they're kind of doing the same shit, like that boom bap shit, and
for sure, there's a lane for it for sure.
Yeah.
For sure, and I think there's even a better opportunity now because nobody's doing it. Right. So like you just go against the grain and you're gonna stand out, man. You do your own shit. If everybody's doing this kind of shit or that kind of shit, you're kind of gonna blend in with everybody. But if you're doing something that's completely different than everybody else, I think you stand out and you're just create your own lane. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. For sure.
Yeah, lately I've been kind of like. Trying to make like timeless music, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like shit that just lasts forever and
for sure
doesn't really. Because I mean, lately, like like mainstream hip hop is like really like trap and all that. Mm-hmm. In my opinion, I think it's kind of dying down, and I've never really saw it as lasting, like the test of time, like
a trend.
Yeah, I think
it's a little bit of a trend. There's always trends.
I'm kind of older, so I don't really know like that.
Yeah.
But I want to ask like some younger dudes, like, what is your favorite like trap album, and do you still listen to it to this day?
Yeah.
Like, honestly, like, cause
exactly.
For me, like.
Came and went. Shit just comes and goes. You know what I mean?
My favorite like trap album was probably like Jeezy. Motivation 101. And that's trap, and I still listen to that shit to this day.
Hell yeah.
But like everybody like bigs up like Future and shit like that. Like but like, do you really honestly listen to him like consistently? Like, you know what I mean? Is he in heavy rotation with your shit? Like, because I don't know, I don't see it.
Yeah. I think a lot of it is just like a popularity thing, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like people just listen to whatever, and that's the thing, you know, the industry they have control over what becomes popular, because people are like mindless. They just follow whatever.
And they have success.
Yeah.
But then again, I think it's just in the moment. Like,
yeah. If you saturate the fucking airwaves with whatever song, it's gonna become popular. You could put the dumbest song on the radio and play it fucking 100 times a day, and then people are gonna gravitate towards it. You know, it's like hypnotism and shit.
Yeah.
For sure. It's just what it is. You know, people just have control over the airwaves and just play whatever they want to play, and they control whatever. I have my kind of weird, deep theories about that shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, so.
But it's a different game now. Like
for sure.
Like there's a lane for everybody now, and you know,
right? Yeah.
People like everything. You know.
Definitely.
You find your little group of people in the world.
Yeah.
Like 3 billion people in this world.
Yeah, there's a lane for you for sure.
You find a million of those guys.
Yeah, it's like you find a million of those dudes. What are they? The Island Boys and shit, or the fuck?
Right.
I started hearing that song and shit like that. There's really a lane for these fools too and shit. I guess.
It's like
it's what it is, you know. People just gravitate towards whatever's popular, I guess, or whatever's popping. Something goes viral, it's gonna fucking, you know, you're gonna find a lane for it.
Yeah,
I guess.
Yeah, but yeah, it's dope. I mean, there's good things and bad things about the way the industry is right now.
Oh yeah, for sure.
But
definitely.
I think overall, like for the independent artists, it's a good thing.
It's easy right now for people to get their name out for sure because of the internet and stuff. But that kind of. So that kind of, it makes it easy for anybody to do it. So then there's a lot of whack shit too, but then there's a lot of a good opportunity for people. You know what I mean? So
that's what I'm saying.
It balances out. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
For sure.
And it's the harder way to do it, all on your own.
For sure.
You know, without the major labels.
Yeah.
Put you out there.
Definitely.
But ownership is everything.
Yeah, for sure.
That's what I believe.
Yeah, for sure. I know. It's got to have money, man, be able to push whatever, you know?
Yeah. It takes a lot of money.
Yeah.
Money to promote, market.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I was watching Russ, one of his interviews, and he says music is the only, like, industry and business where you put way more in than what you get out of.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
So, like, they make a bag of chips for, like, $1, or not even $1, like 20 cents, and they sell them for $2.
Yeah.
So for us to make a song, if you're like paying for a beat, you buying studio time, you know, getting it mixed and mastered, like you're already like a couple hundred in.
Oh yeah, for sure.
You'll be lucky if you get that back.
Yeah, and you still got to get it out to the people.
Yeah, you still got to promote it, market it. Like you're lucky if you get that back.
For sure.
But it just takes consistency, and once you get there. Like with Russ's story, like how he was just putting out all kinds of albums, mixtapes, and a song every day. But once he cracked, like his shit just goes up, and now all that shit is coming back to you.
Yeah, for sure.
It just takes that.
You just gotta stay consistent, man, and just keep building, and not even think about like, and at least for me, is like I don't even like to think about. Like if there's a finish lane or a finish line, or I'm gonna get to a certain part and I'm gonna make it. Like that's when you lose. You know what I mean? Because you gotta. I don't know. I just think you just gotta go with the flow and just do what you love to do, and then whatever you're passionate about, and let it happen. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's what I try to do. Is I just enjoy making music, and I do it because I enjoy it, and that's what I'm getting out of it. Like I'm not getting any money out of it. I don't make a lot of money out of it, but I do get something out of creating music, and that's my paycheck, I guess, in a sense. It's not money, but it's so when you do it for the reasons for like self gratification, I think
you're good.
Yeah, you're good.
Yeah, I said the other day, if you're into music for the money, you already lost.
Yeah, for sure, for sure.
It's not. You gotta love this shit.
Yeah, and I think it's a quote from Bill Withers, man. He said, what did he say? Don't mistake music for the music business.
Right.
You know what I mean? Yeah. So in other words, if you're gonna be a musician, you be a musician because we fucking love being a musician.
Yeah.
And it's not because you're trying to make it in the industry, because then that's when you're in a struggle.
Yeah.
You know, for sure.
Yeah, but it's like, man, it's weird because I think about like Kurt Cobain and like, you know, he didn't even like the fame, but he just loved doing the music. But everybody loved the music, so like,
exactly.
You know,
the fame came, you know, whether he liked it or not. And the same goes for like a lot of others, a lot of other artists, like for instance, like Lauryn Hill, man. She's fucking amazing. She's a fucking most talented, like she's super talented, sings fucking everything, and she only made one album.
Yeah.
Because of that, you know what I mean?
The fame and
because there's too much negativity that comes with being famous, you know what I mean? And that's why I kind of like being a producer or a beat maker.
For sure.
I just sit in the background and shit, you know what I mean? I don't like the limelight. I don't like to be in the spotlight, you know what I mean? I don't like fame. It's not.
You play the background.
Yeah, exactly. For sure.
Yeah, it's that, but it's also like you still want your credit.
Yeah.
Like,
I kind of see it like graffiti art, bro. Like, you know what I mean? Like you're out, like I used to go out bombing and shit, but I didn't want people to know me. But I did like the fact that I'd get on the bus and they'd be like, "Oh, Preed," like, "Oh shit," but I'd be right there and they didn't know that it was me.
Yeah,
you know, type of thing. Like, I kind of maybe that feeds the ego a little bit. You know what I mean? But it was definitely something that
Nah, I've been in that situation with music. Like, we had a kickback or some shit, and they play a song, and like I made the beat and everything.
Yeah.
Like nobody knows.
Yeah.
That's my shit you're listening to, but they're not seeing it that way. They're seeing it's the artist.
Yeah, for sure.
You know, that made this shit, and it's cool.
Yeah, it's cool. You can see the reaction and like, you know.
Yeah.
Sit back and.
It's kind of the point.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, you see artists every day like posting their new songs out, and don't even mention the producer.
Yeah. Right.
Like the producer's not.
Yeah.
Not even mentioned. I've seen today on Instagram. I heard a song. Somebody dropped a new video. I'm like, damn, this beat is fire. Like, who produced this? They liked my comment, but they didn't even tell me.
Yeah.
Like, and I'm like, okay, like whatever.
And you know what? That a lot of it stems from like, I guess the era of the internet is easy to, like, if you're a rapper, a lot of people they like just go and say, hey, producers, send me beats, and then they just get a fucking bunch of beats in their email, and then they just make an album out of a bunch of beats that they got from somebody that they got in the email from overseas or whatever. So they're not really building in the lab with anybody. They're just and then when they create albums, it's just like a mixtape because you got a bunch of beats from different producers. There's that's lost now. Like sitting in the lab with one producer and creating a whole project. Yeah, that's lost, and that's why you got a bunch of mixtapes everywhere now. Right. Because the album doesn't have like an identity. Yeah. You know, it's just like a bunch of songs put together. I guess that's the way it is. A lot of artists prefer to do that because they don't want to pay a producer, you know, to build like organically. You know, just request beats online and through email. You know, everybody does that nowadays. Yeah,
you just go on YouTube and take it off of there.
Exactly.
Yeah, and you don't even know who produced this shit.
Yeah, but the quality of music, I think it goes down because then you know when you create a project and it's like, I don't know.
There's lack of appreciation too.
Yeah, for sure.
You can just. It's like you're in a freaking orange field. And
take it for granted. You're just picking whatever, huh?
You can just grab whatever you want.
Yeah.
Like you don't even know who planted the seed.
Exactly, right? For sure.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember like because I shoot videos too, and like I was asking the artists like for the titles, like what's the song called and what do you want me to put, and they were telling me, and I was like, any producer credit that you want to give. And they're like, oh shit, I don't even know who made the beat. So, like,
okay,
I guess, you know,
a trip.
Whatever.
That's cool. I didn't know you do videos. Yeah. That's cool, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I shoot videos. Yeah, I do. I do everything.
You edit it right here and stuff, huh?
The videos?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's cool, man.
Yeah, I do.
That's good to know. Shit, I might need your services one day.
For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do videos, the beats, engineering, I rap.
Dope.
Freaking this podcast.
Fuck yeah.
Now. Like,
Yeah.
I just love creating music.
Yeah, that's fucking dope, man.
Everything that goes with it.
Yeah, creativity is important, man. I think that not enough people do it. You know, everyone's stuck in their fucking work life. You know what I mean?
Like, I think there's also people that don't even have interest in.
I think they don't know it. I really think that when you, I can get too deep again too, but you know, like when you're growing up, kids, we're all creative when we're born. You know what I mean? Like this is what we do, but then the world gets a hold of you, and all of a sudden you're not creative anymore. You know, and I think it's like that's what we need to get back to. Like every person individually should get back to their creative sense, their creative. You know what I mean? I think that's important because creativity is like the soul and shit. That's fucking, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. But I'm saying, like, most people don't even, they don't worry about it, or they don't even know. Like for instance, if I'm listening to music, like I kind of like break it down and like who's producing it and like what's going on, or like even watching a movie or something. I'm like, yo, like you just see what they just did, like, and they don't even think about shit like that, like, and like who
they're not aware
it.
of it,
or like watching the credits at the end of the movie, like all these names, like I don't want to see all this, but if it weren't for all these people, you wouldn't have this movie.
Yeah, for sure,
and it's just kind of like,
But
once you point it out to people like that, they kind of open their mind.
Yeah,
like oh shit, like. I didn't even think about that.
Yeah,
you know?
And that's the thing. A lot of people are just not aware of it. You know, like, and not even just music. Like, creatively, like any human being, like should be creative. Even if it's like fucking designing furniture, or like designing like the way you set up your room, or like makeup artists, or like fucking people that draw, or paint, or dance, or sing. All that shit is creativity that comes from inside you, you know what I mean? And like when you are like just going to work and then going home and then just going to sleep, and you're stuck in that that life, you just kind of lose sight of like what you can do, like as far as creatively goes. I think we should all be creative. You know what I mean?
It's crazy.
I'm
I don't know. I'm addicted to the creativity.
Yeah.
I know, like, when I get older, I want to make, like, furniture, I want to be a carpenter, like, just create shit. Like,
different shit, yeah.
It's just in me to create shit. I don't know why.
For sure, and it's in all of us, for sure. You just got to you got to do it, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
For sure.
Everybody has to find a passion. And
yeah, exactly.
Even if it's just a hobby, it's...
make fucking knives or lamps or whatever the fuck, you know what I mean? Just do something that's gonna come from you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Creating is fucking, for sure, man. Shit.
So, I'll get back to this producer shit. So, like how we said, like producers don't get the credit, right? It's just a trip to me because... if you go on YouTube, you put such and such type beat, right? And it's usually the artist's name.
Yeah.
So you want an Eminem type beat. You want
the type beat, dudes. Yeah.
Drake type beat, whatever.
Yeah.
Producers are creating this, right? And
I personally hate when people do that.
Yeah, me
you know what I'm saying? Like, let me get a fucking Dre beat.
Yeah.
From you. Like I'm not Dre, buddy.
Can we make our own shit?
Yeah, exactly.
But what I'm trying to say is, like, you're giving the artist the credit for that beat.
Yeah.
When you're a producer yourself, you know what I mean? And you're not seeing what you're doing here.
Yeah, exactly.
And like it's weird. And like also like when you hear like rappers, like for like Jay-Z, for example, right? Hard Knock Life. Sampling Annie. everybody's like, damn, Jay-Z's a genius for sampling Annie. Like, what? Like, when is Jay-Z a producer? Like, when did that
Yeah,
happen?
he didn't do it. Yeah, exactly.
You know?
Yeah,
like, it's the producer. That's the damn genius. And then obviously Jay-Z picking that beat and seeing the vision.
Because there's definitely an art form in that too.
Right.
Choosing the beat you rap on. For sure.
I understand that.
Yeah.
But like, honestly, I don't even know who made that beat.
Yeah. I don't know who did it either. They don't get
like,
credit, you know.
Everybody says like that's so incredible, like how he did that and flipped it, but it was, even when like
Jay-Z,
Nipsey took it back again and flipped it, and he gave the credit to Jay-Z. He goes like, yeah, you know, we took the Jay-Z, and it's like,
yeah.
But like honestly,
yeah, he didn't do it. That's
Jay-Z's
the thing,
not a producer.
Yeah.
Who's a producer? You know?
Yeah.
And it happens all the time.
Yeah.
Like, now, like, this artist flipped that song so crazy. Like, I wonder how he came up with that. Like you guys forgetting about the producer.
For sure. There's not enough. They don't get enough credit, man, for sure.
Even, like, nowadays, they're flipping a lot of, like, 2000 songs. You know what I mean? And, yeah, they're just giving credit to the artist. Like,
whoever was the popular song or whatever. Yeah, I think a lot of times these fools have money and shit, and they just hire a bunch of producers to come in the studio, and they're unknown, and they just take the credit. It's like, fuck, who produced that? Because I know it wasn't Jay-Z. You know what I mean? Like, I want to know now.
it's a trip. How this shit works out.
That is a trip. I mean, we just play the background and shit, and not get enough credit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Shit.
But hey, if that's, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, nowadays, producers do get a lot of shine, you know, especially with tags.
More for sure now, right?
You know?
Yeah.
Which is cool.
For sure.
But a lot of them don't.
Also. Not enough, for sure, yeah. Yeah.
I think, like for Hit Boy, like, he's doing it right. Like, everybody knows who Hit Boy is. And like,
yeah, because he got that little,
You know what I'm saying? He's producing projects for Nas and, like, and, you know, I don't know.
Yeah, that's cool, man. Like, if you have access to those artists, like, it's like, I know when one homie, Fifth Seal, he's from New York, and this fool produced a lot of shit for, like, Rakim. He produced for, like, a bunch of good artists, man, and he's not even known and shit. I follow him on Instagram, but he shows what he produced. Crazy shit, like classics. And I was like, damn, he doesn't get enough props.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But like, he got paid, and he worked at a studio just as an intern or something like that. So he got to meet all those artists. So he was able to, like, talk to them and work with them like that, you know what I mean? Yeah. So it's like, it depends, like, I guess what they say, you know, who you're around and shit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You can get, you know, you never know. You meet some dude that's like, you know, you work at a studio, and that's the thing, you know, put yourself in some situations where you're gonna meet these kind of folks, you know what I mean?
It's all about relationships.
Yeah, for sure.
Even if you're not that good.
Yeah.
Like, I think, like DJ Mustard, for example. I mean, I'm not a hater or nothing, but like all his earlier shit on YG, those beats weren't all that, you know?
Yeah.
Honestly, like, they weren't all that, and
he blew up though, huh?
YG and the relationship they had, and YG just using all his beats all the time, like, they made it happen.
Yeah, then he started working with other artists, right?
Right.
From that, yeah. Yeah, for sure.
But if he would have sent those beats out to artists, I don't think, you know, nobody would use them.
They would have passed on them? Right. Yeah, probably, huh?
So that's to say, it's all about the relationship and shit.
Yeah, it definitely helps, for sure.
Like with me and Robs, Robs used to use, like, YouTube beats every now and then. And, like, now, like, he'll ask me, you know, I'm trying to do this type of sound, or, like, I need something like this. And if at the moment, like, I'm not trying to do it, or, like, I just can't give that to you, I'll tell him, like, well, just go on YouTube. And, like,
yeah, if you want something that's not, I know what you're saying.
But
yeah,
he's gotten used to, like, having the shit just me and all organic and original.
Yeah.
He's like, I don't want to go on YouTube anymore. Like, this is why, like.
Yeah, there's a different vibe to it for sure, and you feel more accomplished, man, when you create something that you guys created together. You know,
like off top, like when you have a relationship with the producer and you know that he made the beat and everything just feels a lot better.
Definitely.
Like from when you're making a video, like it's like, man, we made this shit.
Yeah.
We're trying to make
from the ground up.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
It's just appreciation, more appreciation for it.
You get a lot more satisfaction too. Like, this is created from scratch. You know what I mean?
Like, homie made that beat. Like we doing this. Like,
all
us.
That's cool. And then that's cool that you make videos too, because you guys create like a song, get in the lab, record it, and make a video. All you guys.
Yeah.
That's fucking dope.
Yeah.
You know. That's cool.
All in house.
Yeah. How did you get into making videos? That's the camera you use right there?
The camera I use.
That's dope, man. And you that's what I want to get into.
Yeah.
Yeah, I want to get into creating videos, like music videos, like not rapping, but like just different like footage and put music behind it. You know?
Okay.
That's what I'm trying to get into.
Yeah.
I don't even know where to begin as far as the cameras or what, you know. But maybe I'll hit you up and ask you some questions and shit. Pick your brain a little bit, you know.
Yeah, it was just like, growing up, just watching freaking BET, MTV all the time, and all these videos, and I'm a big movie nerd too, so music and movies is music videos,
just media in general, shit, huh?
And eventually, I do want to get into movies, so I feel like music videos is
that's
kind
dope.
of a step towards that,
Yeah.
And like especially when we do like a storyline to the music video.
Yeah. That's
like,
exactly.
It's exciting.
A little bit of a movie, huh? You're doing like a little trailer or something, for sure.
Yeah, like when me and Robs did the Story of a Killer video, it's like a little short film, pretty much. And it's just fun,
Yeah.
Just creating a story and putting it out in the world and people.
Yeah, definitely. And that's what it's about, right? Like, you don't care about like money. Like, yeah, it'd be nice.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But you're already like getting paid with how you feel.
Yeah.
When you create a product.
Yeah.
And that's what I mean by like fuck trying to make it. Just do what you love, and then that shit will come.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
See, we think like the music shit is like we're not getting paid, but the movie scene, like all these underground like filmmakers, like they're making, basically they start with short films, right? Like 30-minute short films.
Yeah.
But like the cost, the production, and the whole crew just to get it, and all they do is put it on YouTube for free and hope that shit blows.
Yeah.
And eventually a studio picks it up and they make it into a full movie.
Yeah.
That's a whole lot of. They take weeks, months to make something like that.
Oh yeah.
And the cost, and that's just
time and energy and everything.
Yeah, that's on a whole nother level. But the thing with the film shit is, there's no independent game like there is with music.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? There's no like iTunes, you can put your shit out and people can buy it and you can recuperate.
Yeah.
With the films, it's like you just put it out in the world and you get some kind of attention.
Yeah, for sure.
And the studios still pretty much run the shit.
Yeah, exactly.
And because it takes millions just to make a movie, So ain't nobody got millions just sitting around.
Yeah, right? Unless you're a big ass movie company and shit.
You need the big studios to fund you the money.
Yeah, but it'd be cool. It's cool because nowadays, you can make some decent shit with like low budget shit, Yeah, fools are making movies with iPhones.
On iPhone.
Yeah.
Honestly. You can make the shit happen.
Yeah. And then good movies too. Look.
It's all about good storyline, bro.
Yeah.
Like,
what is that saying? It's not what you use, but how you use what you have, or something like that. For sure, that's a big one. Like especially with music equipment. Like I said, we started with a fucking multi-track recorder, cassette, with a fucking little sampler. You know what I mean? So we're doing decent shit.
Yeah. Same with me. Like I started with bullshit equipment,
but you learn from it, and it teaches you how to work with what you got, and you make some dope shit like that. Be creative,
Nowadays, they got YouTube tutorials on everything.
For sure, right? Exactly.
Yeah,
Everything's on the internet now.
Sit there and learn it.
Yeah.
Which is dope.
Yeah.
But I kind of like the way I did it better.
Figure it out.
Like pushing buttons.
Yeah,
what is this doing? What does that do? And like, you know.
Yeah. Some people have just a natural way of like learning just by doing it.
Yeah.
For sure.
YouTube shit helps too. Like I still go like if I'm like trying to do something I've never done, I'll sub like YouTube and.
Yeah, I do a lot of home improvement shit through YouTube. Like how to fix my fucking dryer.
Right. They got everything on YouTube.
Yeah, exactly.
I've seen a video like how to get a girlfriend in the 4th grade on YouTube.
What the fuck? That's a trip.
They got everything on YouTube. It's crazy.
And they're monetizing it.
Yeah.
Got some 4-year-olds watching YouTubes on how to get a girl and shit.
Yeah.
That's a trip.
Crazy.
That's hilarious.
All right, man. We can wrap it up.
All right, man. Well, thanks for having me, bro.
I appreciate
cool
you coming,
shit.
bro.
Yeah, no doubt.
I love this type of conversation.
Hell yeah, me too, man. I appreciate you having me here, man.
Yeah,
for real.
Sure.
Definitely, man. How does this?
Any Instagram you want to shout out? Anything?
Yeah. Fuck, I forget my Instagram, bro. Preed _1 _818.
All right.
I had to think about it. But yeah, you know, appreciate it. Huh?
New album coming out? Right?
Yeah, new album coming out. We don't have a release date yet, but there's definitely a new instrumental project I'm putting out next month, so be on the lookout for that.
For sure.
And every month after that.
Yeah.
You know, it's all good.
I enjoy it.
Appreciate it, man. Cool shit, man. Thanks for having me, bro.
Hell yeah.